An elderly woman walks into a bustling bank, clutching a small handbag and her dignity. She just needs help with a simple transaction, but the staff barely glance her way. Instead of offering assistance, they dismiss her, their impatience turning into outright disrespect. One staff member even tells her she doesn't belong there and asks her to leave. Embarrassed and hurt, she quietly exits, her kind demeanor unchanged despite the humiliation. Little do they know, this is no ordinary customer. This woman has a connection to someone they would never expect, someone with the power to change their lives forever. Moments later, the doors swing open again, and in walks a man with purpose in his stride. He's no stranger to this bank, and his arrival leaves the staff speechless. Could this be the turning point they'll regret forever? The man scans the room, his sharp eyes catching the uneasy glances of the staff. He walks straight to the counter, his calm demeanor masking the storm brewing inside him. "May I speak to the manager?" he asks, his voice steady but firm. The employees exchange nervous looks, unsure of who this man is or why he's here. Meanwhile, the elderly woman stands near the entrance, still clutching her handbag, her face a mix of sadness and quiet strength. To the staff, she's just another old lady. But to him, she's everything. She's his mother, the woman who raised him, who sacrificed endlessly for his success. The manager finally steps forward, offering a rehearsed smile. But as the man speaks, the room seems to hold its breath. "I believe you just made a mistake you won't soon forget." The manager's smile falters as the man locks eyes with him. There's a weight in his words, a quiet authority that makes the staff shift uncomfortably. "I believe you asked this woman to leave," he says, gesturing toward his mother. The manager stammers, glancing at the woman as if seeing her for the first time. "Well, sir, there must have been a misunderstanding," he begins, but the man raises a hand to silence him. "A misunderstanding?" His tone is calm, but the edge in his voice cuts through the air. "You humiliated her, my mother. The same woman who taught me to treat everyone with respect, something this bank clearly lacks." The employees freeze as the realization sinks in. This isn't just a disgruntled customer. This is their boss, and the man standing before them is far from done. The room grows silent, the weight of the situation sinking in. The staff members exchange panicked glances, realizing they've severely misjudged the elderly woman they dismissed so easily. The manager tries to recover, his voice shaking as he says, "Sir, we had no idea she was your mother. If we'd known—" The man cuts him off, his tone sharp. "That's the problem. You shouldn't have to know who someone is to treat them with kindness and respect. What if she were just another customer? Would her age or appearance make her less deserving of dignity?" The elderly woman looks down, uncomfortable with the attention, but her son steps closer to her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. His eyes burn with determination as he looks back at the staff. This isn't just about her. This is about the culture of this place, and that changes now. Tension hangs heavy in the air as the employees brace themselves. They can feel a storm coming, but none of them know how far-reaching its effects will be. Just as the weight of his words begins to settle, a voice from behind interrupts the tense silence. "Excuse me, but I think you should know something," says a young woman, stepping forward from the line of waiting customers. She looks nervous but determined, clutching a folder in her hands. The man turns to her, his gaze softening slightly. "What is it?" he asks. "I've been coming to this bank for months," she begins, her voice trembling. "And I've seen this kind of behavior more times than I can count. Not just toward your mother, but to others like her. Older customers, people who seem less important. They're ignored, rushed, or worse, treated like a burden. It's not right." Her words send a ripple through the room. The staff visibly tense, realizing this issue is bigger than one moment. The man's expression darkens, the stakes rising with this revelation. "Thank you for speaking up," he says to her, his voice calm but laced with resolve. Turning back to the manager, he leans in slightly, his next words carrying the weight of authority. "This isn't just about today. This is about a pattern. And patterns like these don't go unnoticed or unaddressed." The staff begin to shift uncomfortably, realizing this might not just end in words. Something bigger is coming, and no one is prepared for what happens next. The room feels heavy with anticipation as the man takes a deep breath, his calm demeanor masking the storm inside. "Effective immediately, I'm ordering a full review of how this branch operates," he says firmly. "Every complaint, every incident will be investigated. Those found responsible for disrespecting customers will face the consequences." The staff's face is pale, but the manager stammers, trying to salvage the situation. "Sir, we can assure you this won't happen again. We'll implement changes right away." The man shakes his head. It's too late for promises. Action speaks louder than words. He turns to his mother, his voice softening. "Mom, you don't deserve this. Not today, not ever." As she looks up at him, her eyes glisten with pride. But just as the tension seems to ease, the young woman who had spoken up steps forward again. "There's one more thing," she says, holding out her folder. "I'm actually an undercover auditor sent to assess customer service here. What I've seen today confirms everything I've been tracking." Gasps ripple through the staff. The man raises an eyebrow, surprised but impressed. "Well," he says with a faint smile, "it looks like your investigation has found its conclusion." The young woman nods, adding, "And with your authority, I think we can finally make this right." The man nods, turning back to the stunned staff. "This isn't just about accountability. It's about creating a culture of respect. And starting today, that's exactly what we'll do." As he escorts his mother out of the bank, the staff are left reeling, knowing their world has just been turned upside down. And as for the elderly woman, she walks out with her head held high, knowing she's more than just another customer. She's the catalyst for change. As the man and his mother stepped out into the crisp air, she looked at him with a soft smile. "You didn't have to do all that for me," she said quietly. He chuckled, shaking his head. "Mom, after everything you've done for me, this was the least I could do." Inside the bank, the atmosphere had shifted completely. The staff, once dismissive and complacent, now faced the reality that their actions carried weight. The undercover auditor's report would ensure real changes were made, not just at this branch, but across the entire company. For the elderly woman, the day had started with humiliation, but it ended with a sense of justice and pride in her son. As they walked away, hand in hand, it was clear this wasn't just a story about a bank. It was a story about respect, accountability, and the power of standing up for what's right.